Hey there everyone, it's me, Josh Giza for Storytime. I know I just kind of made that up right there and right now, because I love to sing. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just hoping to make you giggle, because guess what? Today we're reading Little Miss Giggles from the Little Miss Library. Love laughing, love laughter. Laughter's awesome, hey? Yeah? You like funny things and like laughing at them? Does laughing make you feel good, make you feel happy? Yeah? Awesome. Well, looking forward to finding out what this story is about today, what kind of adventures we'll embark on with Little Miss Giggles. We have plenty more of the Little Miss collection to get through, so let's get into this one today. Do you love stories as much as me? Yeah, love reading books. So get comfortable, wherever you are, get ready, because we're about to delve into story time. That's right. Okay, everyone. Let's go. Can you giggle and eat cornflakes at the same time? Little Miss Giggles could. Do you giggle while you're asleep? Little Miss Giggles did. Can you giggle while you're brushing your teeth? Yeah, Little Miss Giggles could. She was the giggliest girl in the world, and she lived in Chuckle Cottage. I can giggle and eat cornflakes at the same time as well, except when I'm eating the cornflakes it's just kind of like and I'm dribbling milk and cornflakes, and my dad would be like, yuck. You gotta chew with your mouth closed, or your food goes everywhere and you can see inside your mouth, and it's very gross. But one terrible day last summer, you'll never guess what happened. She lost her giggle. Just like that, gone. She'd woken up giggling. As usual, she had giggled her way downstairs. As usual. She had giggled while she was having breakfast. As usual. Look at her. Strolling down the stairs. I wonder what's happened to her giggle. But while she was out walking in the woods around Chuckle Cottage, she realized that she wasn't giggling. She stopped. That's odd, she thought to herself. Now ordinarily she would have giggled to herself. But not today. She tried. Nothing happened. She tried again. Nothing happened again. Oh dear, she thought miserably. And as she walked along, a little tear trickled down her cheek. Doesn't seem like Little Miss Giggles, does it? No. She met Mr. Happy, who was out for his usual morning stroll. Hello, Little Miss Giggles, he laughed. And how are we today? But then he noticed her sad little face. What's happened? He asked anxiously. You're the happiest person I know. He paused. Next to myself, of course, he added hastily. I've lost my giggle, she explained miserably. Lost your giggle? He asked in bewilderment. Being bewildered is like shocked. So he's bewildered. And she's lost her giggle. Because she's Little Miss Giggles. Mr. Happy scratched his head. He said. Well, we'll just have to find it again, won't we? Little Miss Giggles nodded, but not very hopefully. Come on, he said, seizing her by the hand. He took her off to see Mr. Funny. There's nobody like Mr. Funny for a giggle, he said. It's a good idea. But it was no use. Mr. Funny tried and tried, and to produce a giggle, even a chuckle or even a smile, but Little Miss Giggles just couldn't. Tell you what, said Mr. Funny, I'll tell you my very latest joke. Made it up myself, he added modestly. Very funny. So let's find out what this is. He could hardly get to the end of the joke for laughing, and when he had finished, both he and Mr. Happy nearly fell over. They were laughing so much. So they didn't even get to the end of the joke. You know, sometimes when you're telling a joke and you're explaining something funny to somebody, and before you even get to the end of the story, it's just too funny and you can't even get to the end of the story because you're laughing so much and it's so funny. Yeah? Do that all the time. People are like, just tell me the story. I want it to be funny for me too. Alright. But still, it says that Little Miss Giggles didn't laugh. It's no use, she sighed. I'm going to be miserable for the rest of my life. I know I am. And then she thought, I have to change my name, she sobbed. And she started to cry again, big fat tears. Oh, dear me. Mr. Happy and Mr. Funny are like, a bit sad and shocked. This little Miss Giggles just isn't giggling as much. So Mr. Happy took her to see Mr. Topsy-Turvy to ask his advice. Morning, good, he said cheerfully, and then he caught sight of little Miss Giggles' sad face. Matter the what's? He asked. He always spoke back to front. I've read Mr. Topsy-Turvy as well. It's on the page if you want to delve in and find that story. It's a really funny one. I laughed a lot in that story. It was interesting. So if you want to have a good laugh, jump over and watch that one too. Mr. Happy explained what had happened. Dear oh, he exclaimed. Then he thought, Doctor, he said, Doctor, the sea to her take. That's a good idea, said Mr. Happy, and took her straight away to see Dr. Make You Well. Doctor, the sea to her take. He's meant to say, take her to see the doctor. Oh, wow. That's Mr. Topsy-Turvy. Mr. Happy told the doctor all about little Miss Giggles' lack of giggle. He said, put out your tongue. Not you, you silly Billy, he said to Mr. Happy. Little Miss Giggles put out her tongue. Looks all right to me, said Dr. Make You Well. Open your mouth. So Dr. Make You Well's trying to diagnose what the problem might be with little Miss Giggles. Dr. Make You Well peered inside. He said again. You're right, not a giggle in sight. I'm sorry, he added, but there's nothing I can do for you. You'll just have to wait for your giggle to come back. Poor little Miss Giggles. Mr. Happy took her home, and even he by this time was not looking his cheerful self. What a sorry sight, don't you think? Yeah, Mr. Happy and little Miss Giggles aren't being themselves at all. Mr. Happy's not happy, and little Miss Giggles isn't giggling. Why don't you try to giggle? He said hopefully. Little Miss Giggles opened her mouth. So they're a bit sad there. Ha ha ha, she said dolefully. He he he, she said miserably. Ho ho ho, she added mournfully. It was no use at all. I'm sorry I can't help, said Mr. Happy as they reached the garden gate of Chuckle Cottage. And as little Miss Giggles went sadly through her front door, he went home. Went home to think. Mr. Happy's a good friend. He's got to help his friends out in need. The idea came to him while he was having lunch. He rubbed his hands with glee. Tee-hee, he chortled to himself. And later that afternoon he knocked on the front door of Chuckle Cottage. Who's there? Asked a sad little voice. It's me, called out Mr. Happy. I have a present for you. Little Miss Giggles, looking thoroughly miserable, opened the door. Here you are, said Mr. Happy, and handed her a large box. On top of the box, in large letters, it said, 1 giggle, medium size, this side up, handle with care. Little Miss Giggles looked at the box in amazement. What is it? She asked. What it says it is, laughed Mr. Happy. You lost your giggle, so I've got you another one. Let's see if that makes little Miss Giggle again. That giggle cost me a lot of money, he added. Little Miss Giggles opened the box. But there's nothing in it, she exclaimed. Of course not, said Mr. Happy. Giggles are invisible. But that's absolutely ridiculous, said little Miss Giggles. Is it? Chuckled Mr. Happy. This might make little Miss Giggles giggle again. Of course it is, she giggled. She giggled. She giggled. Well, that is a funny little solution and a very helpful friend there. It's not cool to not be able to find things funny if you always like to find things funny. I think laughter and giggling is awesome. Make sure you always try and find that and find good friends that'll be there for you. That's important. And be a good friend and be there for your friends as well. Alright, well thanks so much for reading Little Miss Giggles today with me. I'll be back again with another story really soon. My name's Josh Keezer, this is Storytime. Bye for now, but not forever. If you like these, please subscribe. Click that bell below. Bye-bye.